This episode of Saturday Morning Trek is brought to you by Audible.com, offering more than 180,000 titles for smartphone, tablet, and desktop. Titles like Face of the Unknown by Christopher L. Bennett. Set after the third season of the original series, but before the animated series, not only do you get to find out the consequences of the Corbomite maneuver, you also get a lot of fun nods to the TAS characters and events. To get a free audiobook of your choice and to help Trek FM at the same time, visit audibletrial.com/trekfm. And also by Enterprise in Space, an international program of the non-profit National Space Society. Find out how you can help science and education and become a virtual crew member aboard the NSS Enterprise Orbiter by visiting enterpriseinspace.org.
This is DC Fontana. You're listening to Trek FM.
It's set now for action and adventure. Future's here for us to see. It's 2200 AD.
Their mission, to fight injustice, to right that which is wrong, and
to boldly go where no man has gone before.
Join us at Trek FM as we harken back to the days of wood panel dens, console televisions, and bandoliered kids in hot pants yelling, "Earther! Earther!" Today, we're going to go back in time to Yesteryear. Not the concept, but literally back to the episode Yesteryear. And we're going to do a watch-along. It's something that a lot of shows have already done on the network, and it's basically where we sit and we watch an episode of Trek with you. And today I have my increasingly more common co-host, Joe Slepski.
Woohoo!
Yes.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm doing really well. I'm excited for a watch-along.
How was Free Comic Book Day?
Free Comic Book Day was massive over at Golden Apple. We had a really good day.
I understand that there was a Star Trek comic that I think they said the pre-sales are like already sold out or something like that.
Yeah, well, they did a mirror with the Next Generation crew comic book.
Yep.
So refresh my memory on that. Did they not? I thought they did a mirror. They did do mirror episode, right?
Nope.
They didn't.
Next Generation never did. Deep Space Nine did.
Okay, but they didn't do. I thought they did one where Tasha Yar. They were in like an evil universe.
No, it was a parallel universe, but it wasn't the mirror universe in that sense. It was what happened was the Enterprise C was destroyed at like a crucial event in time where they were actually going to save some Klingons from the Romulans, and what that did by them basically not being there. The Klingons saw them as cowardly, and then they got into a war, and then there was this, it's basically the Klingons and Romulans and the humans, if I remember properly, were all at war. And so it was not the Starship Enterprise, it was the Warship Enterprise, and Tasha was still alive because they never went to the planet with the oil slick, and
So it technically, even though it was like a mirror episode, it technically was not a mirror episode.
No, because nobody was evil.
It
was just a parallel universe. It was like, Fringe or any of those shows where we have actually this is a good conversation to have today because the episode that we're going to be watching has a parallel universe that they return to.
So then did you read the Free Comic Book Day then?
I have not got it yet. Actually, Adam, our other co-host, picked me up a signed version, one with all the writers and the artists. Yeah.
Where were they all signing at? Which show? That's exciting.
It was in the Valley somewhere, and Blast Off or Blow.
So then, do you know, was this taking place in the mirror universe, or was it in the universe that we already visited with Tasha Yar being alive?
No, it's not that universe.
So it really is the mirror.
This is the mirror universe. Yes, the
real. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the Next Generation, Voyager, and the animated series were the three that did not get a mirror universe episode. The original series and Deep Space Nine did.
It's funny. So
Enterprise as well. Sorry.
So didn't the original series? Didn't they try to end it on some maybe they introduced a seed of positivity into the mirror universe?
Yes.
Yeah. So that means it failed.
In a way, some of it worked, and then it didn't. And we actually there was a conversation on Earl Grey, our TNG podcast, and I have to agree with this is one of our former hosts. I would have to agree with Daniel that I like the concept once, but you can't keep going back to it. There's no way that universe is sustainable, and there's definitely no way that you're going to get the same kind of people at that point. You're like, how is there a Picard? So our headcanon, our own theory is that these are all different other mirror universes. Like, you know, they like, so the original one was Spock. They're all kind of the same, but they're all slightly different because there would have been so much deviation by the time you get to Picard's time. There would be no Picard. There would be no, you know,
right.
no person living on Earth that has a vineyard that has children that went into space, and you know, it doesn't work
in a universe of infinite multiverses.
Exactly,
that's easy. Yeah, that's easy to.
It's actually
play off of.
really interesting that one of the reasons in the episode that we're watching today, Yesteryear, DC Fontana chose to return to the Guardian of Forever, the big kind of rock portal thing that is a time machine, is that it didn't need any kind of explanation because people already knew what it was. And, you know, they didn't want to describe a mirror universe or a parallel universe or anything like that. And nowadays it's kind of crazy because so many people watch science fiction and superhero shows. Like, I have heard so many different random comments in the last couple weeks of, what are we living in a mirror universe now? And that is, you know, depending on what your politics are, that is sort of the, you know, a comment on today's world.
Well, we are living in a mirror universe.
Yes. So, but the fact that it's like, you know, a parallel universe or an alternate timeline, I was like, yeah, it's kind of crummy that we. But the positive side is there apparently are a lot more people watching sci-fi and reading books.
You know what? I agree. 100% the same thing. Growing up, I think my first exposure to multiverse was DC Comics. It was probably Crisis, the concept and all that. Yeah.
Yep.
And
or the Twilight Zone, maybe.
Yeah. And so then, like in I don't know, mid '90s or something like that, when I was starting to get, you know, just read more and stuff, I was seeing articles about like explaining to the masses, to the to the regular people, like what alternate universes are. And I absolutely distinctly remember thinking, are these people dumb? Like, I knew about this when I was like 8. Like, I was, it's not that hard of a concept, people. Come on, I get it. Read a comic book. Let's move on.
Well, do you remember Back to the Future 2?
Oh, yeah.
How much, like, just explaining that they had to do.
Yes.
This is the young Marty, and this is the old Marty. I'm like, why are you spending so much time with this? It's super evident.
Totally. I remember, like, seeing reviews at the time of people going, well, okay, so this is what happens. They go back, and I'm like, of course that's what happens. Pay attention, people.
And there were people in the theater like, which one is this now? And you would hear this. Like,
there was a time
There
was a time when people were confused by the movie Pulp Fiction, and that's not even time travel.
What?
That's just nonlinear storytelling, and people were confused as to what happened. You remember this, right?
I was not a huge Pulp Fiction fan, so I can honestly say I've actually never seen it all the way through.
Oh, okay. I was a massive fan, but when it first came out, there were so many people that were confused by the timeline in it, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me! It's just a non-linear storytelling,
and
it's
that
not even
happens
time
now
travel
on regular network television because you get a lot of the 16 hours earlier, or it pops around, and if you watch Legion, it's like can be all over the map. And
I was watching Legion, and then I fell asleep for 6 episodes, so I'll have to go back and revisit.
Visually, it's amazing.
The story is
beautiful.
It is a beautiful looking show, and the actors actually are really good on it, but it couldn't sustain my interest. I was really, I did about 2, maybe 3 episodes, and I was like, I'm out.
We thought it was interesting that like him as a child feels like it was 1950s, 70s, and their future, 1960s. How did we say that? 1960s, 40s, or something like that. And their modern day was 1970s or 1980s, 60s.
Yeah.
There's like these 2 decades that are glued together visually. You'll get like the electronics look very like early Walkman or something like that, like the kind of the metallic metal black trim with silver metal details,
right?
And then you'll have like an Eames chair or something that's very mid-century modern. It's a really cool mix of styles.
I agree, and it's a gorgeous show. Another show that did that really well was Bates Motel, except Bates Motel also made an exciting show, and they kept an interesting narrative. So I hope Legion picks up is all I'm saying.
Yeah, we've watched 3 episodes, I think. So, but we've spaced it out. It's not one of those shows you can binge watch. At least for me, I couldn't watch more than one a week.
Well, speaking of that, there was a big trailer dropped today for a new Star Trek spoof show.
Yes.
Did you know anything about this?
The Orville. Oh, yes. If you
nothing
are
about this.
in the weeds of following Discovery, the shuttle that is in the trailer for the Orville
Yeah.
was spotted on the freeway in Los Angeles being carted from wherever it was to the Fox lot in Culver City.
Okay. Right down the street from me.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so it was posted onto Twitter and Reddit and all these places like, it's the new Discovery shuttle. Okay, there
Why
are
would it be
many problems with this.
Yeah, why would it be going to the Fox lot?
Right. Why would it be going to Fox? Why would it be in this country? It's being filmed in Toronto, so it's in Canada. And at the time we were like, okay, it's either the Orville or it's like a theme park ride. We couldn't, it's like
Right.
because the first shot was only on the freeway, and then later, like a week later, somebody made a comment that then had a picture of it going into the lot or towards the lot. So I'm like, well, it's clearly not Discovery. And there are still people, until this trailer dropped that were like, no, I'm positive. Like, visually looks nothing like the era. It doesn't have any Starfleet markings. It's just,
yeah.
It doesn't. So, but no, the trailer looks fun. I love
does.
the little thing where it's like, they're looking at an alien on the big view screen. It's like, could you move a little to your right? I was like, what? It's like, just there's a lot of empty space. Can you just move there? Now you're centered.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Yeah. And it looks like the alien, the special effects and stuff are really high quality.
It looks
like,
good,
everyone
really
looks
decent,
really.
yeah.
It looked. I kept having to remind myself that this is not a movie. It looked movie quality.
Well,
Everything.
and there's a question of like, depending on how much humor it's going to have overall, can you sustain that for an hour every week?
Is it an hour long?
It's an hour show.
Whoa, that's a
Yeah.
lot. That's
Yep.
a lot.
But then again, it's Fox, so it's only going to last a season, if that. So they don't do well with science fiction.
That's true.
After the X-Files, they're like, no, just
Well,
We'll try it, but we'll
did
get-
they say they're doing one more season of X-Files?
yeah, no, it's coming. The stuff is coming back, but I just think it's interesting. I almost wonder if like some of these shows should come out and just be, 13 episodes and that's it, or whatever. Plan
they
to
got
be short to begin with.
the Will and Grace revival, and then they're doing a revival of
the answer to a question no one asked.
Yeah, right. So they're doing Roseanne. They're bringing Roseanne back for 12 episodes.
Oh, boy.
Yeah,
Avatar is getting a sequel or multiple sequels.
That's the question nobody asked for.
Yeah, I'm still confused by that.
It's getting a theme park, Aaron. Mm-hmm. A theme park.
This has been Saturday morning diversions. No,
Yeah. Well, listen, you can control all this in the edit, my friend.
no. This is great. We should do just an episode where it's like just chatting
Just
and the wood
sci-fi
panel
talk.
dead. Yeah,
Yeah,
dead.
just all sci-fi talk.
So,
But
cool.
we are here to watch some. We are here to watch some Star Trek. We're watching an episode, season
Speaking
1,
of
episode
a short
2.
series.
Yeah, season 1, episode 2, called Yesteryear.
Yes, and
Now,
this is
Phil-
this is the if you've ever seen Star Trek the animated series, this is probably the episode that people will tell you to watch.
And why is that?
It is a sequel to the the most beloved original series episode in average circles of the City on the Edge of Forever, which was the
This is the sequel to Harlan Ellison?
well, it's not really a sequel, but it's using the same plot device. Basically, it's using the Guardian of Forever from the Harlan Ellison episode where we had Kirk and Spock accidentally thrown back to the 1930s. Kirk falls in love with Joan Collins, and then she dies.
Which obviously everyone knows that and loves
Yes.
that episode. But some of you may not know, or it's Trek, so everyone probably knows. IDW did a wonderful
Yes.
adaptation of that comic book. Absolutely beautiful, both the interior art and the cover. And it was of Harlan's original script.
Mm-hmm.
So it varies a little bit in the end and all that stuff. So seek that out from IDW. It's really great.
And they did an audible audio recreation of the script as well.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. So this episode uses the same time travel portal as a vehicle to continue kind of what Dorothy Fontana's favorite character was, the backstory of Spock. We get to hear more about his childhood, and you kind of start to get the inkling of why in the Journey to Babel that he and his parents, or he and his father are not, great together, and kind of where his mom fits into all of this. So it's really cool. You do get a lot of information. And if you ever saw Star Trek 2009, a lot of that first bit of the movie where you see Spock's childhood was sort of lifted wholesale from this.
From the cartoon episode.
From the cartoon episode, yeah.
Oh, okay. So he doesn't have an awkward relationship with his dad because his dad walked in down the middle of his pon farr?
No.
Dad, close the door.
I think that if you do that, then I think then you, as a Vulcan, probably have to commit ritual suicide or something like that, because they are so repressed about their sexuality that, oh my God, I saw my son doing something. Goodbye. I'm going to kill myself now.
Where do you stand on the Uhura Scott?
There actually was a Scotty Uhura sort of like implied relationship at one point, so that works.
Where do you stand on the Uhura Spock relationship?
Well, in the current and beyond, it was actually pretty good. And in 2009, I'm like, oh, okay. In Star Trek Into Darkness, it was horrible because she became... It wasn't about, this is Lieutenant Uhura and this is what she's doing, and she happens to have Spock as a boyfriend. It was, my sole being in this show is to be Spock's girlfriend. And it was just... It got to the point where they started arguing. The captain literally is told to be quiet because Spock and Uhura are having an argument. I'm like, okay, that's when the whole show, like, that's kind of where the whole movie for me ground to a halt. But I'm just like, no, that's horrible. You did a real disservice to the character. And so I don't have a problem with them being in a relationship, but the way Spock acts is weird and the way Uhura acts is out of character. So if they can walk that line and write them as being true to their characters and still be in this relationship, it's fine. If you go back to watch the original series, you have Uhura kind of hitting on Spock a couple times early on. She did this whole thing where she's singing, I think, or they're playing the harp or something like that in the rec room. And it's like, And this plays really well into the episode we're going to watch. Is she said, how did she phrase it? It's like something about the moon on Vulcan.
Tell me how your planet Vulcan looks on a lazy evening when the moon is full.
Vulcan has no moon, Miss Uhura.
I'm not surprised, Mr. Spock.
So remember when we're watching the show that he says Vulcan has no moon.
Okay, because I'm assuming on the show there's multiple.
You're going to
moons.
see a moon, yes. And then it's carried into the motion picture, where there's also, and that's what it was fixed in the director's version. But yeah, no one was happy when this moon showed up, and it was too late because the production was so tight they couldn't really go back and take it out.
So then, when they blew up Vulcan in the reboot movie, was there a moon or was there no moon?
No, they took care of all that.
Oh, good.
Well, the retconning that they've used, it wasn't a moon; it was just a planet. Like, that's a huge planet. Then you'll see. It's interesting. I mean, that would almost make Vulcan a moon at that point because it's a big planet. So
I'm excited. All right,
So we should get going because I think we've actually talked for 3 shows worth already.
That's all right. It's what
the
people tune in for.
Yeah. So if you're at home, get your DVDs, your Blu-rays, your Netflixes, your whatever, your ViewMasters with the slides.
So we're going to be watching it. We're going to be watching it off Netflix.
Yes.
So whatever Netflix, the kind of intro that Netflix gives you, that's if you want to keep up and watch along with us, that's what we're going to be watching it with.
And it should be like it's you get the intro and everything else, so it's all pretty much the same as the DVDs and the Blu-rays. So there shouldn't be a big difference.
Excellent.
Cool. All right. Should we give them a countdown?
Let's do it.
All right. 3,
2, 1.
Engage. See what I did there?
I like that. Engage. That's great.
Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the starship Enterprise. Its
5-year mission to explore strange new worlds.
Yeah. How much does this opening dialogue vary from the TV show at all?
No, I think it probably is the same audio.
It's the same
even.
exact. Yeah.
I've actually never run them at the same time, oddly enough. So I'd have to check, but He may have re-recorded it for the animated series, but it's the same dialogue. So
Yeah. And then when they went to the movie, did they use the same? Because I know in the reboot they changed it to where no person has gone before. Or whatever.
yeah, where no one has gone before.
Yeah. Did they ever change it in the movies? In the other, I think in the original.
May have later on, but not to start with.
Yeah.
We have Yesteryear by
DC
DC
Fontana. So I'm on record. I love shots of like the ship flying through space. I think it looks good. I think it looks really good.
Yeah, and it's economical for animation too. It looks really neat, but it's you don't have to have a lot of moving parts.
Yeah, and the you know what
Yep.
you know what helps it a lot? The black background.
Yep.
It really does. It's the inverse is true of the original Empire Strikes Back, pre-special editions, all that stuff. When you had the white background of Hoth,
Yep.
like it was so hard. You've seen all the behind-the-scenes stuff. It was so hard for them to animate that properly because all the layers would show through.
So here we have everybody jumping out of what they're calling the time vortex, which I'm wondering if maybe Harlan Ellison didn't let them say the Guardian of Forever, or if there was like a copyright issue.
Yeah, that could be true. Do you know, would he have had a copyright on the script for that or anything?
No, I don't know exactly, but there could just be like some contention, like we don't even want to bother
screw
with like
around
trying
with
to
it,
get
yeah.
So,
But as soon as you see that rock with the
Right.
hole in the middle, you know what's
Yeah.
up, right?
yeah, and that's why they didn't have to describe what was going on. There's so much backstory that they already put into this 22-minute episode that they didn't want to have to also explain time travel.
So what's
And so what's going on now is that they've shown up and nobody knows who Spock is. And suddenly
Interesting.
we have an Andorian
Look
as
at
the
that
first
guy.
officer. Yep.
So he's an Andorian?
Yep. He should have been more bluish. But what's interesting is later in Enterprise they have sort of grayish subculture of Andorians. So maybe he's just one of them.
Now that's funny. Do you think they did the grayish subculture in order to tie in this dude?
A lot of people on Enterprise really like the animated series, so there might have been a subconscious sort of thing. I'm not sure.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So while they were traveling through time, their timeline changed.
Yep.
So that means
they went back
this
to
is-
study ancient Orion culture or something like that, which I think they're just going back for Orion women, honestly.
So this is Back to the Future too. This
Yeah,
is,
basically,
This is
yeah.
the Biff. This is the Biff verse.
This is, except it's not quite as horrible. It sounds like.
Yeah.
It's like- but his mother is dead.
While we were in
And
Orion's
I
past, the
think
time
here we go.
revision that took place here.
I may have actually just jumped the timeline a little bit here.
Okay.
Yep, there we go.
Yeah.
Check the Starfleet records, Commander.
Yeah, so they're checking the records, and this is where we find out what happened to his family. There's no Vulcan named Spock in the
That that ensign or the dude that's giving him that information is so put upon. He has got to look like, oh God, don't shoot me.
I have a feeling that he must be somebody that was he's drawn like somebody that in real life.
He's the guy that always gives bad news to
Yes.
this universe's Kirk. Oh God, once again things have gone horribly wrong, Captain Kirk.
There she is. There's Amanda Grayson, and
And that's Spock's
Spock died.
mama. Oh,
Yep,
no.
and then she died in a shuttlecraft accident on her way to Earth from the moon. So that is obviously
Well, the
not
good
what happened.
news, Sarek, still a swinging bachelor.
Yeah.
That's the positive here. Sarek is out there and single, ready to mingle. I feel like Sarek and Deanna Troy's mom could make a great couple.
Oh,
Could you imagine the passion?
that would be interesting.
She would empath and
She would drive him insane.
yeah, but she would read all his true emotions, right? Oh my God, let's write this. It's not a fanfic; it's a slash fiction. Let's write it. Let's make it so.
Okay.
So who's this golden bird guy?
Well, this golden bird guy is we see a very similar species show up later, but he is just another new species in Starfleet that they can do because it's animated.
Awesome.
And he's a scientist.
That's great. And he also, even though he works in Starfleet, eschews clothing.
Yes, that is kind of interesting.
I feel like, just because you're an alien doesn't mean you don't have to cover your naughty bits.
Well, maybe he doesn't have naughty. He's got feathers. It's sort of like wearing a
No,
big.
okay.
It's a
fair
big,
enough. But where does he
big
keep?
boa.
Where does he keep his communicator?
around his neck, maybe. With
I mean, that's I guess everything's got to be around.
Maybe
his
he's
neck.
got like a belt with a kind of like a
I'm just saying, there's
fanny pack kind of thing.
It's still they're still military. There still should be a protocol you have to follow here, Mr. Bird.
Starfleet is not military.
Wait, they're not?
Nope.
I thought they were like naval.
Well, it's
not militaristic.
I will find the episode of Standard Orbit and put it in the show notes, and then you can listen to people debate that for 2 hours.
No, I'm going to take your word. No offense to our good friends at Standard Orbit, but I don't need a 2-hour debate on that. I'll take your word for it. But and the lady, do we know who she is?
No, she's just another scientist. It's
Another
interesting.
scientist.
She's got a very 70s haircut or hairdo.
Really does.
Yeah, and she's wearing pants, which is a nice change for like not having women in Starfleet at this era in short mini skirts.
Go boots. Yeah. Well, it's the 70s now.
Or the Federation. I guess they're not necessarily Starfleet. That's probably they're Federation scientists. So
right. So according to Into Darkness, at one point we need to see her completely disrobe. Just for a quick second before they go to the planet, because that's how female scientists work.
Yes.
That's what I learned.
We're not going to see that in this cartoon, but yeah.
That's what I learned from that movie.
Yeah, that movie. Okay.
We
had that conversation
It was a victim of the writer's strike. It was a victim of the writer's strike,
It was?
It was, wasn't it? Wasn't that during the writer's strike year?
I guess that could be an excuse, but I don't think so.
I thought it was. Maybe not. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I thought we've got Andorian doing the Long and Prosper.
Are Andorians, are they down with Vulcans at all? Like, are they buddies? Or?
But if you watched Enterprise, they did not start out as buddies, but they're in the Federation together now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was an interesting backstory.
So Spock just got teleported a purse?
He asked for a bag that is fits in that era that he's going to.
Because he wants to blend in.
Yeah, and he's got apparently clothes in that bag or something.
He's like, last time I did this, I had to wear a knit cap over my ears. I had to dress like the Submariner in early issues of the Fantastic Four, and I didn't like it.
But he is going back to his hometown, so at least
right.
That's
true.
And there's your moon that it should not be there.
Oh yeah.
Or giant planet. It's huge.
Oh, you know what? You could get away with. That moon looked like they could have played off and said that was the sun and just kind of like a night for day kind of a shoot,
That's interesting. Shooting night for day for cartoons.
Yeah.
This is kind of cool where we see. This is the first time we've really seen this much of Vulcan, and I like that Vulcan isn't just a boring. It's very beautiful and it's got all this cool design.
Mm-hmm.
And here we go to our 2009 Star Trek sort of.
Oh. These kids are great.
We also learned that Vulcan children are kind of jerks.
Yeah, they're shirtless.
Yeah.
Loincloth.
They look a little bit like Zardoz.
They do look like Zardoz. Oh, that's amazing.
We wondered if maybe, because this came out shortly before this, that if somebody was just like watching Zardoz and like, yeah, that'll work. I got to go to work.
Yeah, they saw the preliminary photos. And they were like, hey guys, here's the deal. When this show comes out, Zardoz is going to be huge. It's going to be the next 2001. We need to jump on the Zardoz bandwagon. Put Spock in a loincloth. Make it so number one. And then that's how that phrase started.
Oh, okay. Here we have Spock pretending to be his own cousin and introducing himself to Sarek.
Who among
they
us
got Mark Leonard to come back and do the voice. So that's
who among us hasn't pretended to be his own cousin at some point in time?
Yes. He's wearing the bathrobe that's very much like in Star Trek 4.
Yeah, when he came back as like a zombie, not a zombie, but like without any memory.
Yes, basically. Yeah. Yay! And this is Ichaya. That
is a space. It's like Hair Bear.
It's his teddy bear pet, basically, that they mentioned in Journey to Babel.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So
so Sarek, his name is Mark what?
Mark Leonard. He was
Leonard.
on.
He's awesome.
Mission Impossible before this.
Yeah, he's awesome because in every iteration of Trek I've ever seen, he always comes back to play Sarek.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Did he pass, or is he still with us?
I believe he has passed away.
Yeah, I love.
And James Frain is going to play Sarek in Discovery.
Oh, cool! I love that he kept coming back for it.
Yeah,
and
They
He's
were going to
great.
have James Doohan do the voice, and it just would not have worked, I don't think.
No.
It's just like, yeah.
No, I don't even know if they have haggis on Vulcan.
And then we have Majel Barrett, unfortunately, doing the voice of Amanda, and that was originally...
Why do you got to throw shade at Majel Barrett? Why is it unfortunate? She could play lovely Amanda.
She can, except she plays lovely every woman, and Nichelle Nichols fills in the blanks for all the other lovely women. So
Mrs. Roddenberry gotta eat. Mrs. Roddenberry gotta eat, son. It's how it is. So essentially what we're learning, and I think we would have learned this, we knew this already, but Spock has the same origin as He-Man.
Oh.
He's
Does
got
he?
an Earth mother,
Oh, yeah, you're right.
astronaut, kind of come to another planet
Yeah.
and bond with one of the leaders on the other planet. And it gives you Spock. Spock and He-Man, cousins.
Wow. Yeah, and they've got a pet that's like the big...
He's got a big lumbering pet.
Oh, wait, and
like Battle
later
Cat.
you will actually see a cat that looks an awful lot like Cringer. Yep.
See?
Or
That's what
Power
I'm-
Cat, I guess was... Yeah.
Well, wait a minute. Time out. Hold on a second. I was just saying that for joking.
Yeah.
They're both Filmation
They're both
cartoons.
Filmation, yeah, uh-huh. And
They're
a lot of people worked on
100%.
this show worked on He-Man.
Oh, we just cracked the code. Aaron.
We've done that a lot. We've figured out that Star Wars is actually all in Lumpy's head.
Yes.
And now we have that.
we just
that,
cracked the code.
Yep.
They
He-Man
took-
is actually Spock.
Yes. I love it.
That's great.
That's awesome.
Now we're going to have to do some sort of fan art with Spock He-Man.
Well, here's how you know Spock is awesome. Because he just like met with his younger self and like he didn't run over to him and be like,
Yeah.
dude, don't do this. At some point this is going to happen. Don't do that.
No, he just eventually does that in the Kelvin timeline. He just
Yeah,
hey,
but
watch
that's
out
when
for
he's
this brother.
older.
He's like, I'm
That's-
just tired.
Yeah, it's when he's older. He's like, I got nothing else to lose.
I want Spock's mid-century modern bedroom. Guest bedroom or whatever. They just showed it. It was just like,
It's a good looking room.
it was really cool looking. It was like, hey.
Do you know every time I see, maybe this is just that I'm middle class. Maybe every time I see like a really ornate like living quarter like that, I always think like, I don't know that I'd be happy in a room like that.
Well, that room itself was pretty plain. It was like very flat surfaces. But
Yeah, it just doesn't-
that
rooms like that just don't seem
center courtyard is a little overdone.
Yeah, courtyard's kind of dope. Yeah.
It looks like he has like a curtain or something like that separating the outs. Because I mean, Vulcan's very warm. Maybe that's some sort of like passive, like they do at the Dubai.
Yeah. Is
The
Vulcan
Persian.
a primarily hot planet?
Yes,
Okay.
hence the name Vulcan, I suppose.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Volcanic and
Yeah. Oh, right. Well, it certainly got hot for a few minutes in Star Trek 2009, right?
and then it just
Yeah,
disappeared.
it got really hot. And
Yeah.
then, awkward. Too soon. Hashtag.
So here we have he's the Coswan, which
Hashtag
is
Happy
his-
Mother's Day.
we should have released this last week. So this is we're learning that there's the Coswan, which is the kind of age of or ritual of maturity that Spock has basically taken off to do by himself, which is a ritual kind of thing in the desert where he has to. Oh, and now we have what sounds like Godzilla.
That's great, though.
There he is. Here we
Is
go.
that Battle Cat?
Yep. There he is.
Oh, it's totally Battle Cat.
Yep.
Stop it, Filmation.
And this is where we get how every child of this era found out about pets dying. Well, not every child, but
Oh, they're just dancing. That's
Yes.
what you tell your kids right now.
You're-
Dad, what are they doing? Oh, they're dancing. Like you and
now
mommy,
we've got-
like you and mommy
there's
danced.
Spock riding Battle Cat.
Oh,
Here we go.
I think Spock just gave him the old kung fu grip on the neck right
Yep.
there, didn't he?
I think so.
Oh man. Yeah, that's Battle Cat. That's so crazy.
For helping me.
I
And
love it.
Yep.
Mother's
Oh, I guess this is no. I guess I jumped the gun a little bit, but yes.
So I got a question.
Yes.
So the timeline changed when Kirk and Spock were traveling, and
Yes.
what exactly changed?
I don't. That's the one part I never really got. They went to Orion, the history, and it's something about like Spock didn't. I don't know how that worked. I honestly don't. It's something they did cause some sort of ripple that caused Spock to go off and do this by himself and get killed. And the only thing I can figure out is this is one of like those predestination paradoxes where this was always going to happen.
Yeah.
He was always going to die, and Spock was always going to go back in time and save him.
So that means he dies twice.
He died in one timeline somewhere that he died as a child, and then
That's so weird. Yeah. Because it's not because you would think that Spock would be going back to stop whatever he and Kirk were up to.
Well, and
Like
if they went
following
back
the
to
rules of,
ancient
like-
Vulcan to look at
Yeah.
like history or something, that would make a lot more
It's like
sense.
the like the Flashpoint kind of rules, like the Flash. Like you need to go back and stop yourself from saving your mom, who's there to stop yourself from saving your like.
Damn it, Barry!
Damn it, Barry! Once again, you're your own worst enemy.
That's it. We just need the Flash from Filmation to come just running.
Oh
by in the
yeah, they did
background.
those cartoons too.
Yep.
Totally.
Oh,
That's
No, I
great
guess
though.
this-
I love seeing Spock give young Spock guidance.
yeah,
Oh no.
yeah.
This is when Spock cuts him open and climbs into him, going to commercial break like a wampa. And now, young Spock, it's going to get cold out here at night. Slice him open.
Horrible.
Slice him open. And
You're banned, Joe. Go away.
No, slice him open and crawl into him. Trust me, I saw it in an old Earth movie once.
We cannot get him back to the
You're mean.
Oh.
large to move.
Listen, Wait, is the bear not dead yet?
What is the logical
He's
thing to do?
Is he dying or is he not?
dying. Yes.
Oh,
unfortunately.
I thought he was straight up dead.
No.
Okay, well then I don't advocate killing him if he's not already dead. But if he is dead, though, let's use all parts of the buffalo, Aaron.
Will you stay with him?
I think it's the
So we now
Federation
have-
part to do.
Young Spock is running to go get somebody to try and help Ichaya, and the young Spock, by the way, the voice is. Do you know who Dr. Demento is? Have you ever
Yeah,
heard of him?
yeah.
Whimsical Will,
That
the
I
guy
don't
who
know
did all the
that
music. He kind of like chose the music and and that's him.
Oh wow,
That's- yeah.
really? Because
He
it
grew up to
really
be-
does sound like a kid's voice.
It is a kid. It was a kid at the time. He grew up to.
Oh well, then how
And
did he
these-
get? What was his connection? Was he like?
I think he was one of those kids who like did commercials and things like that.
Oh,
And so they
got
took
it.
him in for the audition, and most of the audio you're hearing is actually from the audition because it was
because they
kind of
didn't
that
want to pay
raw.
him.
And oh, and by the way, we have Lex Luthor, who is the healer.
Yeah, of course.
If you've noticed, old Lex Luthor,
Yeah.
his
Yep.
purple and green, and
Totally. Or it's the Vision.
or the Vision.
Yeah,
that's
he
true.
finally decided to take human guys.
No, they're DC more than Marvel. So
Yeah, that is true. So it's definitely Luthor. I still can't grow hair on my head.
Oh yeah, this is weird. It was like you have practical jokes. It's like as a what like.
Practical jokes.
Yeah, 2 years ago. The kid's like 7. So
my God.
at 5 years old, he did one joke, and now this guy's like, "I'm not going to save
Yeah.
your bear dog thing."
And he
because,
has to,
you know,
carry the shame of it forever.
Yeah.
A 5-year-old did a joke.
Yeah.
Jeez, this is people. This is how you ruin society. Let the 5-year-old live with his joke.
But he's a 5-year-old Vulcan child or partial Vulcan. That's
Partial
all-
Vulcan child. But as we've learned, Vulcans have the emotions. They just choose to repress them. And really, is laughter that bad of an emotion? Really?
And this actually, I think, is the first place that they actually say that they have emotions, but they suppress them, as opposed to. If you watch the original series, you could go thinking you just don't have emotions. I don't
Right,
think they actually, yeah.
Before he was mine. To lose him.
But yeah, no, this was Dorothy was saying that they were really assuming that they were going to get a lot of calls from parents and angry, how dare you put this on television? And NBC was worried, and they did it anyway, and they didn't. Everybody actually, the calls they got were positive, like thank you.
Oh.
This is
yeah.
this helped me explain to my child why our cat died or whatever. And
Oh,
I think Dorothy actually had a cat that she ended up naming Ichaya. which is
oh
kind of
fun.
It was originally pronounced something slightly different, but the kid couldn't pronounce it any other way, so they just changed it for everybody else.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Yeah, this is the shows like this are good. They really are. To introduce that stuff to kids,
Release him. It is fit.
especially when you actually do have a giant bear for a pet.
Yeah. Oh, and he's so cute too.
Yeah.
But people, when they like make fun of the animated series, it's like this is a good story for
It
anything.
is.
It's
So they
it's,
just put him to sleep.
yeah.
Wow, it's not like he just died.
No, he had to choose. It's like we can keep him alive and he can be in pain, or you can let him go.
Someone please edit this and just put an audio drop of a gunshot or a phaser blast instead. When they cut away to the wide shot, you just hear kapow!
No.
So it's not like a peaceful injection. It's like Spock setting his phaser to kill.
This is also interesting. Basically, Spock taught himself how to do the Vulcan nerve pinch.
That's awesome.
But I like that it's sort of, you start to see where what put him on, like, okay, I'm just going to try and be more Vulcan than human, is the fact that his pet died.
Yeah.
He's just like, no, I can't deal with these emotions, so I will become, more Vulcan.
Yeah. Hey man, I remember when I was in my late teens when my lifelong dog passed, and it was really sad. It really bothered me. I mean, dogs are,
Yeah, if my cat died, I don't know how I'd function.
Well, your cat will one day, Aaron.
Well, yes, I know.
Listen,
eventually.
Aaron, I want to sit you down and watch an episode of Star Trek: The Animated Series with you. I want to introduce you to a concept, Mr. Aaron. And when you're done, we'll talk about it. And it's one of those things I think kids need to go through. So it's good. It's a really good episode.
They have returned to the future, and
I still don't understand why they caused it in the first place.
Yeah,
and now they just erase those other new people that they met.
No, they were there. This is later.
No.
Yes, they didn't get erased.
So all the
Thalen, though, he did. He said, he goes, I don't know what's going to happen to me.
Yeah,
but
so
family is important.
So
fix this.
Right. So the new people are gone now.
Well, they weren't there necessarily. They're not
They
gone.
were in that timeline.
Thalen is actually the captain on another ship in a book that Dayton Ward wrote.
Well,
so he did reuse him and put him somewhere.
Dayton
he was even
Ward,
better than a first sword.
Dayton Ward rescued a gaping murderous plot hole from this episode. Because I'm telling you right now, that was a selfish thing for Spock to go back and fix his own life. What they should have done is they should have went back and punched themselves out and knocked themselves unconscious with whatever it was they were trying to do in the first place, which we never saw.
I still would like to know. I'm going to have to see if I can investigate like what apparent thing in the Orion's history that could have possibly changed this.
Right?
So, and there we are. This is like it's so
it's
quick.
Exciting. I love that Hal Sutherland
the font
signature.
is,
It's so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, and
there's
it's
a guy
funny,
named Rock Benedetto that worked on this show. Good for Rock Benedetto.
Robert Klein, who we interviewed, the one that we've talked about, who worked on the show, he said he knew where his name was, and this is before VCRs and freeze frame, so he would go up to the television and put his finger there and wait for it to come by, so the people it could see that, look, I worked on the show, and there's my name, and there it's gone, because you couldn't, or he'd take a picture with an Instamatic or something like that.
Yeah.
So
that's hilarious.
And there we go. Dorothy Fontana's name. We have her associate producer. And then the spinning Lou Scheimer, Norm Prescott. I think that was a really clever idea. They'd never wanted one name to appear above the other, and they wanted to be equal.
Is that why they did that?
So they did it as a spinning circle. I'm like, that's kind of awesome.
Yeah, that's really awesome, actually. Yeah, that's cool, man.
So there we go. That was Yesteryear, and that is and you can kind of see why it's sort of the best of the best of the animated series. It's well written. It plays off of a well loved episode from the original series and a character that everybody loves. You get a lot more backstory. It's kind of amazing how much information we got in that short period of time.
Oh, definitely.
And I wouldn't even mind seeing that as like a if that was blown out into a full episode or something like that. That could have been interesting.
Just that would make a great episode.
Yeah,
sure,
or even movie. That actually could have been a movie if you thought about it. It's like that. You'd have to add some different things into it, but it could see, in the future, the Enterprise trying to interact with Thalen and stuff there, and Spock in the past, and you could bounce back and forth between the two. And that's one thing I always wish that we had a little bit more information of, like what was happening in the this parallel continuum that was created. I think that could have been kind of cool. How does First Officer Thalen react to a Klingon attack or something like that?
Yeah. I just want more time travel. I want to see the crew of the Enterprise screwing with history a little more. Prime,
I think
Prime Directive. Sure, it's Prime Directive. Until
if you
Spock's,
keep watching forward from the animated series, you will come across that quite a bit.
It's a Prime Directive until Spock's puppy dies. Then that's it. Out the window.
Well, watching Spock's beloved pet die isn't the only thing we've been doing on Trek FM this week. Here's a listen to some of the things you may have missed elsewhere on the network.
Previously on Trek.fm, Melodic Treks.
I think one of the things, though, that still attracts me to his music is that whole dissonance. Having something be not quite perfect. Two notes that seem like they should be on, but one of them's just slightly off. Not enough to be flat or sharp, but just enough to make you notice. And he uses that a lot in his music.
Literary Treks.
It's not just about Q. Do you remember Trelane from the original series? The episode The Squire of Gothos? He was played by William J. Campbell, a.k.a. Koloth. But Trelane's character in the original series is very similar to what we got later with Q, and he may have been some of the inspiration behind the Q character.
Saturday Morning Trek.
The line that I thought was really interesting, twist me widdershins, mean a direction contrary to the sun's course, considered as unlucky, counterclockwise. So instead of saying twist me counterclockwise, they said twist me widdershins.
So they use the word widdershins?
Widdershins.
That's a word?
Yes.
That's
that
a
apparently
real world.
A child in 1973 should have known, apparently.
Wow. That is... I missed that, and I don't ever want to hear the word. It's a terrible word. It's a terrible word.
The Ready Room.
Well, Larry, in this case, in the writer's room, the real question on Discovery right now is to hoof or not to hoof.
Oh, no. Well, my thing is to three-finger or to five-finger. So,
right. Yeah. What will they do with the Tellarite hands?
I mean, the Klingon forehead's got an example, an answer. When are we ever going to have a reason for what happened to the five-fingered Tellarites versus the... Yeah.
And that's what else is happening on Trek.fm.
You can find us on iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Windows Phone, and of course you can always stream or download the MP3 files directly from our website at trek.fm and grab the RSS link as well. If you're an Apple user, please be sure to hit the subscribe button. This makes it easier for other listeners to find the show as they search iTunes and helps us increase our visibility with new listeners. And it's an exciting time for Star Trek fans. If you'd like to help Trek FM keep engaging discussion coming your way each and every day, consider becoming a patron of the network through Patreon. Visit patreon.com/TrekFM and find out how you can become part of the team. That's patreon.com/TrekFM. So, Joe, where can we find you around the interwebs when you're not advocating cutting up beloved family pets and sleeping inside of them to stay warm?
To protect your own life, all right? To protect your own life.
Sometimes your own life is worth giving up.
Very clear on
not
that.
To, okay.
You can find me every Wednesday on my podcast, Joe on Joe. It's a G.I. Joe podcast. It's a watch-along, just like we did today. And we just started season 2. I'm so excited, which is like the introduction of Serpentor.
I feel like you should be like on season 7 by now.
I know.
It's like there's so many episodes compared to our show.
There really are. It's like episode like 67 for me.
Yeah.
But it's like Serpentor and Sergeant Slaughter.
Oh yeah.
And, like,
oh my gosh, Serpentor. Oh.
Yeah, that second wave of craziness and Dr. Mindbender with his shirtless cape and his mustache. Like everything's great. Like it's a really exciting time. So so every Wednesday we drop. You find me on iTunes. Nice. If you're on Instagram or Twitter, I'm at Joe on Joe Pod. And all that stuff on Facebook, give me a like and just pop in and say hi. And, if you like the comedy stylings of Joe on Joe, where to find
even
me.
If you're not a huge G.I. Joe fan, it's fun to just listen along and like the commentary and the tangents and things that happen are really enjoyable too.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we try. It's definitely a show for laymen. Most of my guests have never seen an episode of G.I. Joe, so half the time it's me explaining who people are.
Oh, I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, like I wouldn't know.
Everybody who's on my show always knows so much about Star Trek.
Well, we had you on our fantastic interdimensional cross parallel universe.
Universe, yeah. No, that was a great episode, and actually, I friended Mike Pesco on Facebook.
Marty Pesco.
Or Marty Pesco, sorry. Yep. And we've chatted back and forth and shared memes and things like that. So
Yeah,
it's
that's
kind of
great.
fun. Yeah, I think when Serpentor and all of that second, I guess, like third wave of toys at that point, I think was, I started like, okay, I'm transitioning more to Robotech and stuff like that. It was just sort of like, too much. And I was also getting older. I think it was just like, but it was just like,
it's a not to get too deep into the G.I. Joe lore here on Saturday Morning Trek, but it is definitely a dividing point, because it is where they started going a little goofier and sillier, and it eventually turned into completely silliness, whereas it could have gone in one direction. It could have gone like cooler sci-fi, like a little more otherworldly, but still kind of kept one foot on the ground.
In the Transformer universe.
Yeah, but they went from Serpentor straight into Cobra La, straight into like the DIC universe, if for deep jump cuts. So it is, in retrospect, it is the jump the shark moment.
Okay.
But it's a lot of fun though.
Yeah,
because it's still it's fun, and they're dealing with like DNA helixes and like kind of advanced science. Like
it was interesting that you say that I picked up on that as a kid. That it's like, okay.
I wish the OJ jury had watched these episodes of G.I. Joe. They would have understood DNA like 8 years later. 8 years later, they would have been like, oh yeah, okay, wait a minute, this is how Serpentor was made. He had to kill those poor people.
Or if anybody watched like just PBS, that might have been helpful too.
Hey, I don't want to put the bar too high. It's still PBS. So yes, every Wednesday, Joe on
awesome.
Joe.
And you can find me, obviously, right here on Saturday Morning Trek, and I'm also Trek FM's art director. We also just launched a show called Primitive Culture, where I created the cover for it, which is actually the Guardian of Forever. So I spent a lot of time in the last week or two looking at that thing, which is interesting because the animated series version doesn't really kind of work. It doesn't look quite the same, and it seems like it got moved to a more barren location or something. But yeah, so you can find me there. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram and all that under the username Geek Filter. And I am also in the Babel Conference, which is Trek FM's Facebook user group. So, I think, I'm ready to go write my Spock as He-Man kind of fanfic or work on that T-shirt. We got to do a T-shirt with that.
So we got to do a T-shirt where Battlecat confronts that monster that looks
the La
like
Mancha.
Him. Yeah, I mean, come on, this has to happen. And then really young Spock, kind of dressed like He-Man.
Oh, and the bowl cut too, even.
Right?
Yeah,
not terribly far from He-Man.
There's so many elements. It's like
an Earth Mother.
Yep.
Listen.
Yesteryear equals He-Man.
I'm not saying Filmation was bereft of ideas. I'm just saying there's some similarities.
Be interesting if now I'm gonna have to go talk with somebody about
you know all these people.
You have to see these similarities.
Totally. I love it though. It was a great episode. I'm really glad we did this.
Yeah, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I think it was nice to kind of just sit back and riff off of watching it. And we're gonna do this again. We put a poll in the Babel Conference and asked people what they'd be interested in seeing. We have this. There's the episode where the Enterprise crew encounters the Devil, which is the magics of Megas 2. Yeah. That one can be a lot more fun to we don't have family pets dying and time being changed and all that. So that can almost be a Mystery Science Theater type of episode. Mudd's Passion was in there too, that we can.
I know how much you love Harry Mudd.
Oh yeah. Well, that at least has some relevance now with Discovery, where apparently he's going to be in 9 episodes out of 13 or something, which is I don't know how that's
That means they're guaranteeing 9 amazingly awesome episodes. Because also it's Rainn Wilson, so come on.
Yeah, for me that's a double no.
Wow, I am not going to tell him you said that.
I know.
And the reason I won't tell him is because I don't know him.
Oh, okay. I'm still trying to figure out how that's going to work. Are they going to teach him a valuable lesson so he can then go on to sell women to minors? Minors meaning people who dig stuff, not minors as in children.
By minors, they mean underage people who dig stuff. They're getting both versions.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah, just so no one's confused. They're both
no.
minors.
So I'm actually really curious to see how this works out. I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm not going to be one of those people who are going to already hate the show that hasn't come out yet.
Yeah.
Which unfortunately our fandom is a little has a little bit of a problem with that. Although I have found that a lot of like Star Wars and as I've been kind of surfing around, I'm like, okay, ours isn't the only one. It seems like it's an internet problem, actually.
It's totally an internet problem, but also by the time the show comes out yet, there may be no more internet. You know, like
that's true.
I mean, the show's taking forever. It's like, come on, people, let's go.
It'll be just directly beamed right into your head.
Yeah. They're waiting for the 75th anniversary of Star Trek.
You can watch it on your glasses or like,
which goes right through your contacts, beamed directly into your brain. Yeah.
And you activate it with your lash board. That's what you're, the device that controls the computer inside of your eyelash.
3 quick blinks changes the channel.
All right, so I am going to get to the drawing board and get working on this T-shirt, and I will give you a call when I come up for air.
Well, thank you for having me on, Aaron. I appreciate it. It was a great time.
Good time here, too. All right, talk to you later. Oh, and remember, there is an animated series.
Earther, barbarian, emotional Earther.
He's not even a real pet, Adam. He's just a cringer.
Cringer, cringer, cringer.
Definitely some similarities.